Welcome everybody. 6 August 2025, almost 6 p.m. on the eastern coast of the United States of America. Happy Transfiguration Day, Feast of Transfiguration. Let's get right to it. Trump yesterday says J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, will, quote, most likely be the MAGA heir in 2028. Floats Marco Rubio, who they used to hate each other, Trump and Rubio, as a running mate. Steve Ducey, you can hear the entire Republican field right now. Do you agree that their heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance? Trump, well, I think most likely. In all fairness, he is the vice president. I think Marco is also somebody that would get together with J.D. in some form. And as the Patriot Voice rightly points out, Vance is the Palantir pick. Trump is laying the groundwork for full technocratic takeover when Vance Rubio are selected. And don't worry, you will never hear that from any of the cheerleaders online, and most of us Catholic talking heads will never bring that up because, obvious reasons. They'll talk about JD getting baptized. Great. We're fantastic that he met the Pope. Great that he's Catholic. He's also a technocrat from, that the guy that owns him is pretty much one of the worst guys on the planet. Can we at least bring that up? I know nobody wants to bring that up. President DJT plans to announce that Apple will commit to spending another $100 billion on domestic manufacturing, the latest pledge by the tech giant to increase U.S. production of its products as it seeks to avoid punishing tariffs on its flagship iPhones. Yay! Don't worry, that has nothing to do with the other day, last week when Trump launched his digital health tech ecosystem to bring healthcare into the digital age with trusted partners like Apple, with OpenAI, Amazon, Anthropic, Apple, Microsoft AI, and Google. Don't worry, nothing to do with that. Don't look, don't ask, just trust the plan. We guarantee this won't be a vaccine passport system. Oh, wait, we said it out loud. Oh, rewind it. Did we say death camps? We meant happy camps. Gunfire erupts, speaking of death camps, in northern Gaza rubble. Reportedly, IDF troops firing directly at people waiting at the aid site for food and water, because that's what we fund. And latest empty promise, Apple to announce another $100 billion investment in U.S. manufacturing. I malfunctioned on that by putting that in between. Sorry, when I was putting this together, I'm in a hurry trying to get it going for dinner. So I'm sorry. The company previously announced the plans to spend $500 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years, which will include work on new server manufacturing facility in Houston, a supply academy in Michigan, and additional spending in its existing suppliers in the country. Wednesday's announcements will bring Apple's cumulative commitment to $600 billion, the White House said, all of which is just empty promises until Apple actually does something besides just talk. Ooh, strong words. There's a lot of people that do just talking. In Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz signs the bill to legalize killing babies in abortions up to birth. Democrats are literally applauding. If you're celebrating dismemberment and destruction, innocent little babies, you're evil. 100%. My question is, where is there anybody in Minnesota? Is there nobody that lives in Minnesota that can get off their keisters and run for office in Minnesota? I see a lot of people that live in Minnesota can't stop talking about D.C., Trump, federal government, etc., and do absolutely nothing, at least I don't see, about anything in their beloved state. I don't know. Just saying, to fix your area. If somebody thinks they can fix the entire continent and can't focus on their backyard, we're mixed up. We got decentralized mindset. Fix your backyard. If everybody that's listening worries about fixing their own state, their own patria where they live in, we can fix things up. If you focus on DC thinking that some magic thing's gonna, if we just vote harder for the right person, it'll filter it out past the hookah pipe. You're smoking something big. Actually, it's because you've been propagandized since the 1920s to think that the centralization ideas are the FDR, the emperor, the first emperor. Well, Lincoln was the first tyrant. FDR was the first emperor. And that's the mindset. Centralized everything. DC has to reign all. This could be an idea. The states can eliminate the federal government if they wanted to. It can eliminate the presidency. The states can eliminate SCOTUS. That's how much power is in the states. But no, everyone wants to focus on DC. It's all backwards. You're in a communistic mindset if you think DC can fix it all. It's the other way around. It's subsidiarity in the sense. But anyway, Minnesota, how you fix this in Minnesota? There's got to be some Catholics can run for governor of Minnesota. There's got to be Catholics to run for the state house in Minnesota. There's got to be good Catholics to run for mayors of cities in those states, just like any other state. New York City. There's that guy from last week. Long Island. Anybody in Long Island can run. Nobody. There's no Catholics in Long Island. Mayor for New York City. Is there no Catholics in New York City that can run for mayor? Anybody? That's what I mean. If can't complain if you don't do anything about it. Sitting on your desk and just doing this does nothing. Sometimes you got to sacrifice to help out. I know most people have jobs. Tough. That's an excuse. Get up and run. Italian police arrest 13 in national crackdown on Chinese mafia groups. Italian police arrested 13 in a nationwide sweep against Chinese organized crime groups, striking what authorities call a double blow to criminal networks accused of drug trafficking, labor and sex exploitation, and money laundering. Why not? Just do it all, right? Yeah, Lincoln was pretty much a tyrannical guy. He threw people in jail. Marx loved the guy. He was the first. We got the income tax. First bill for the income tax came from him, 1861. He has that quote of the renegade, the rebel governors in the South won't listen to me or something like that. He was all about him doing it there. Now later on, he kind of eased back a little bit. Hence why he was killed, because the guys that killed him wanted to destroy the South. And the story is, if he would not have been assassinated, Reconstruction probably wouldn't have gone down, and it might not have gone down the way it is right now, in the sense of state rights being just squashed, because all those guys that killed him wanted essential. It was the 48ers from the Marxist the takeovers from Europe that came over here. Hopefully, I can't wait to do a show on that. But one of these days I'll get to that one. IDF soldiers told to stand down on October 7th, says General Flynn. That's a bombshell for anybody to say, and especially on the war room. What are you, shocker. The war room is getting a little uppity in a sense. Good on them. They're still not going to call out Trump. Something bad happened. It was an inside thing, a bombshell. Yes, many people that were, if you don't listen to mainstream media, you knew about that pretty much on October 8th. Cash sent home by Mexican creators 16.2% in June as more immigrants leave U.S. workforce. RFKJ orders crackdown on Oregon harvesting practices in U.S. hospitals. Ain't that something? Can we get to the spraying the skies? And he did say come out rejected all the mRNA jabs, which we'll see, because the 3 recent ones, he ain't said anything about. Now, the other ones, fine, because remember, day 1 was Stargate, an mRNA jab for cancer. So it's sometimes one of the things that he's saying it, but what we do is like the Apple thing. Talk is cheap. Let's figure it out here. United Kingdom details its bank account surveillance powers. Bank accounts could soon become open ledgers for the state, with Social Security claimants first in line for scrutiny. Don't worry, it'll be here in the States too. Just calm down. I know you want it. It'll be here. Don't worry. Records show Florida prep for second immigration detention facility in Camp Landing. Yes, because one isn't enough. We got to have multiple. Well, the first detention center is in the Everglades. The second is planned for Camp Landing, with potential use of Cecil Airport for deportations. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has stated a second facility will open once deportations from the first facility increase. Let's see, 2 lightning sirens for the facility, according to the state contract, for $39,490. The weather stem. Why are we talking about the weather stem here? Oh, it's got to go down a little bit. Federal government's deported over 600 people from South Florida detention facility, but there still weren't concrete plans to open a second one, which officials stated will be in Camp Blanding. I think if it's not leading a real significant cadence of removals, then I think I'm going to wait. Now I have confidence that it will, and I think it will eventually. And once it happens, then we'll go. And Kevin Guthrie is ready. Guthrie is the director of FDEM. The state received criticism from immigration advocates, Democrats, and environmentalists for housing immigrants in the Everglades during hurricane season, as the tents used for detainees can only withstand up to a Category 2 hurricane. I'm taking a little heat in the media, and the EM guy is not taking care of human hurricane season, says Guthrie. That is absolutely unequivocally false. Guthrie said in a state will evacuate if there was a storm above a Cat 2. I promise you that a hurricane guy's got the hurricane stuff covered. Okay. ICE offers, then quickly withdraws cash bonuses for swiftly deporting immigrants. They were getting like a $30,000 bonus. So that was like you see in that last video we played yesterday. You talk about how they were joking, say, "Hey, we'll get a bonus off this one." The short-lived effort underscored the mounting pressure on ICE to meet Trump's aggressive deportation targets. See if there was a number. 50,000. I'm sorry. The signing bonus was 50,000. Promised to hire as many 10,000 agents. I think they've hit 80,000. I think agents now. Let's see. I mean, you see it all over the place. They want you to move, but China unveils Hunter RoboDog, just 37 kilograms. It's sturdy enough to stand on. Unitree says it's made for industrial applications. Would you want RoboDogs patrolling your streets? Max speed, 5 miles a second. That's a pretty agile little headless Terminator. South Park fans predict brutal trolling of Kristi Noem after first look at new episode. I wish I mean, I used to watch South Park back in the day before I came back into church. It's got to be hysterical what they're going to do on it, but obviously you can't without like VidAngel, and probably if you watch VidAngel, you probably get about 5 seconds of the show. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem reveals 80,000 Americans applied to become ICE agents. That was at 80,000. Breaking exclusive. The next alligator Alcatraz will be in Indiana at the Miami Correctional Facility. And if you don't know Miami, Indiana, there is a Miami, Indiana. There's a Miami, Ohio, too. Facility Bill Mulligan reports it will be branded as Speedway Slammer because you got to have catchphrases for where you're located and everything. London introduces Mind the Grab campaign. Phones stolen every 15 minutes. Better watch where you stand, or you might be in a snatch zone. Purple signs placed to raise awareness among pedestrians. Guess they don't steal it outside these purple lines, or U.S. citizens jailed in L.A. ICE raid speak out, quote, they came ready to attack. There's actually video today of reminding you if you watched, Saving Private Ryan, they drop the things, the guys jump off the boats. Same thing, they open the doors and these ICE guys jump out of the truck at a Home Depot. Because you know what they kept saying is they got to go after all the worst of the worst, the MS-13 guys, where apparently MS-13 is getting a lot of compost, soil, and wood at the Home Depot, and you got to go after the people at the Home Depot first. So I don't know. I go to Lowe's a lot. So maybe Lowe's is okay, and Home Depot is where the MS-13 guys hang out. Just wondering. The Howard Stern Show to be canceled after nearly 20 years on SiriusXM as a $100 million contract is up later this year. And it's a sad day in SiriusXM radio because, I mean, Howard, not going to lose any sleep over that one. It's good for humanity to see Stern being canceled. Not that we're supposed to be on the cancel tour, but things like that. Pray for his conversion. Trump reignites, be a good conversion. You get someone like Trump or Stern like that too. Trump reignites threat to take over D.C. after former Doge worker assaulted in attempted carjacking. The guy was brutally beat up. I don't know if they show that in here, but as you've probably seen the photos, I won't post it up there. The guy got just beat the tar up. Meet the Republican Senate candidate in Kentucky who could be the next J.D. Vance. Not if not Peter Thiel on his back pocket, or he's in Peter Thiel's back pocket. Nate Morris, who is aiming to succeed Mitch McConnell, who pretty much zones out every 5 minutes on TV, is running with a family story, an anti-establishment pitch similar to the one Vance eventually rode to the vice presidency. Except for the anti-establishment thing with Palantir, it's kind of like, well, most people, most of the hoi polloi wasn't smart enough or didn't care too much to do due diligence to look up and see the connection between Palantir and Vance. They just like the story, and people like stories, and that's all they want to hear. Hook up, college kids schedule literally everything on Google Calendar. GCal dictates students every waking moment, from walks to class to what time they go to bed. It's kind of unnatural, which, again, that's coming to the not so distant future for everything in this. Fort Stewart, you've probably seen this already. Fort Stewart shooting live updates. 5 soldiers shot, gunmen in custody. Lockdown has been issued. This was obviously this was hours ago. This is southern Georgia. 5 soldiers have been shot during an active shooter incident at Georgia's Fort Stewart. Announced on Facebook that Fort Stewart Commander Colin William Gay Weaver had issued a lockdown for the base in Wright and Evans Army airfield shortly before 2 p.m. The area was given all clear. And the Fort Stewart shooter identified as Army Sergeant Cornelius Radford. Shooter's been identified as Radford. He shot 5 soldiers earlier today, all of whom are now in stable condition at a local hospital. Radford is currently in custody, and the motive remains unclear. No other information on that from what I understand. Top Trump officials will discuss Epstein's strategy at Wednesday dinner hosted by J.D. Vance. So J.D. put together a dinner for the strategy for all this today. Haven't seen any updates on that. Obviously, if it comes up, we'll let you know. Trump aides planning Rogan role for end of Epstein crisis. Remember a couple of weeks ago, brought up that these Rogan and guys like that used to be like the quote alt media. Now they're the mainstream media. And if, say, Rogan comes on and says XYZ and this is okay, so people will just case closed. He's almost like an extension of the executive branch in a sense of whatever. I mean, Trump's been on there 2 or 3 times. So whatever the government says on here, it will tell them to say. He will say it, and the hoi polloi, because he's the biggest voice out there right now, will follow lockstep. So it's being used in this sense. It's kind of like a puppet in a way. It's without having their own media, he's their media. There's Ledger360.com, Trump, Epstein, and the American Party. Ledger in collaboration with 338 Canadian and maintenance media surveyed Americans on DJT's potential implication in the Epstein files, threats on tariffs, and Elon Musk's new American Party. And so 84% of Americans say they've heard about it, and I think it's like 77% want all government documents related to the Epstein case released. And that's across party lines. Talk about unity. Trump's redneck recession hits his working class base the hardest, despite stock market highs, which only affect the wealthy guys. The U.S. president risks losing the base that voted him in office. And you'll never hear the word depression. You'll hear a recession. We're getting close to a recession. I think this one brings it up. Now, I brought it up yesterday, I think it was. And everyone has looked at all the trends are looking that way, especially when the housing bubble. Just wait for that student loan bubble to bust. That thing is going to bust one day too. How Palantir won over Washington and pushed its stock up 600%. One-time Silicon Valley upstart emerges as power player in Trump's second term and adopts his persona. Don't forget, again, Peter Thiel literally is Palantir. And they have all gotten into government contracts. Russian and Chinese navies practice destroying enemy submarine days after Trump move. So yeah, just playing some war games in the water. Because Russia no longer considers itself bound by nuclear treaty with the United States. China's biggest threat to U.S. is a tech kill switch after malicious claims. A cybersecurity expert has warned that China is the biggest technological threat to the West, with Chinese equipment containing malicious computer codes. They've been talking about this for a while too. The I-911 bill, all they need is a false flag to pull stuff like that. Then you'll need the driver's license, just like you mentioned last week about YouTube and all these other guys needing you got to provide an ID to use YouTube in a couple of weeks. And Shopify, not Shopify, is the song one, Spotify, and a couple other ones are requiring IDs. Australia's doing it, UK is doing it. Eventually it'll be a kill switch and you're going to need a license just to be online. Dogs of war. China touts killer robot wolves. China's long gun-toting quadruple military wolf robots are designed to stealthily approach enemies, fire precise shots on targets, and work in rough terrain, state media said on Wednesday. There's no video or anything on the wolves, but the agile machines climb flights of stairs, carry heavy backpacks, and launch attacks on dummies, clips showed. China turns to AI in information warfare. Chinese government is using companies with expertise in AI to monitor and manipulate public opinion, given it is the new weapon of information warfare, according to current and former U.S. officials and documents unearthed by research. Don't worry, our federal government's going to do the exact same thing. It's just not a Chinese thing. China fights mosquito-borne chikungunya, whatever, virus with drones, fines, and nets. Fines and nets are as thousands fall ill with drones, fines, and nets. They're fighting with drones, fines, and nets. Oh my, drones, fines, and nets. Oh my. Authorities reported 7,000 cases of the virus as of Wednesday, mostly in southern Chinese manufacturing hub of Fujian, some 170 kilometers, 105 miles from Hong Kong. The number of new cases appears to be dropping slowly, according to the authorities. Here at the X. South Africa confirms new bird flu outbreak. There's a new bird flu literally every 2 weeks. Poland's new president is positioned to make history or rewrite it. As a MAGA-endorsed candidate, he was awarded the visit to the Oval Office, where he posed thumbs up, of course, because everyone has to put the thumbs up thing, with President Donald Trump running for president under the banner Poland First, Polls First. Karol Nawrocki, a 42-year-old conservative Catholic, narrowly won a June runoff, giving the populist Law and Justice Party the ability to paralyze the agenda of pro-EU Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Again, I probably haven't said it, but everything's underneath in the show. Everything you've seen underneath in the show notes in chronological order. Mysterious interstellar object aiming at Earth, not natural, as scientists rule out comet theory. The appearance of a mysterious interstellar object has reignited debate on whether extraterrestrial technology could be hiding in our own solar system. Oh, you got to love the distractions coming at you. EU Digital Service Act pressures U.S. tech companies, including X, to enforce global censorship, including on American political speech, says U.S. House Judiciary report. And finally, this came today, Brian McClanahan, Anton Scalia versus Donald Trump. And this is where he brings up, where I brought up at the beginning. The federal government can't do squat about sanctuary cities, but a state can. And now a state can abolish the federal government, presidency, and SCOTUS. The power is with the states, not the center. So at the end of this, I'll give you a solutions thing. Click on McClanahan and watch that, because he'll bring up ideas. Because a lot of people think of the 14th Amendment as the Constitution. It's literally a 14th Amendment Constitution that we see. When you hear about people trying, well, this trumps state law. No, 10th Amendment was there for a reason. The powers of the federal government is only 18 enumerated powers. That's it. It's not everything. It ain't supposed to be your daddy, as Trump has come out saying your daddy's home and all that stuff. learn this stuff, and then be able to fight when you can fit into solutions. You can figure out, hey, like I said, with the abortion thing, what Roe versus Wade should have been killed right out, no pun intended, right off the bat by state saying nullify. Not isn't a power. That is not correct. Is an abuse of the Constitution. Is repugnant to the Constitution. Done. Should have been done day one. But we didn't have anybody with any stones or knowledge probably in the state houses to be able to do that. The gay marriage thing, same thing. Done. Violence to the Constitution, not unconstitutional. Nullify it. Done. Kaput. Anything like this could be done like that if we had the people in the right spots. So anyways, God love you. Have a great rest of the day. Sorry I got to run. I smell dinner in the back right now. And don't forget, like, subscribe, click the bell, all that stuff. Try to beat the algorithms. Got a Transfiguration sermon coming out in less than 3 hours. Obviously, click the bell. It'll come out at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, as always, thank you. Check out censusfidelium.tv. Again, that helps the support the program. And you get a bunch of videos, 800 at least right now on the website, is on the app. Anyway, God love you. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you very much.